You're going to have to explain that a little bit. So
Yeah,
do you mean by that that the options for peace will be mandated from a higher self perspective rather than from the human's ego perspective, trying to play chess pieces on a chessboard, which, by the way, just so that everyone knows, doesn't work. If you're trying to
right.
play the game of peace through the moves on a chessboard, it's gonna fail, trust me.
Yes. And you hit the nail right on the head. It's like, you know, what we do is embolden humans here, but as empowered beings. Now, you see this happening when I take on clients and they get help with what I do. They actually end up getting an inflated ego and then they sabotage themselves. So, what that's basically saying is it's preventing humans from sabotaging themselves by their own bravado from world peace, right? So
Yeah.
you'll get these power mongers who'll say, "Oh, I know how to bring on world peace," and then they slowly get bastardized, and then they wield power, and it's very subtle that they don't even see they're doing that or it's happening, and then it'll happen to a degree that human consciousness is again trapped in the lower worlds. So it's just hedging the bets. If
So here's the way I think of it, just for what it's worth.
yeah,
To me, any orchestration of world peace by a small number of either individuals in a position of power or authority is destined to fail. And so the real momentum for world peace comes through 8 billion individuals at a time. So it's not something that gets orchestrated by this world leader, a president, an organization, the United Nations. No, I think world peace comes from the agreement of 8 billion individual souls coming to collectively together and simply saying no, screw that to conflict. And and then, by the way, those in a position of power and authority have nothing to do, and that's probably a good thing.
absolutely. And it goes back to that analogy I had before. What we're doing here is providing the flint for 8 billion people to ignite. There used to be this phrase, million points of light. Well, there's 8 billion points of light, and they need to ignite into higher consciousness. And that's what we're providing here. Hopefully, people will see it someday.
The pathway to peace, picking up on the conversation that we had just a bit earlier, is about all atoms of life. Um, um, the idea of sincerity, integrity, kindness, and compassion being the feedstock of all atoms of life. And so when that becomes the mainstay, sincerity, integrity, kindness, and compassion, um, across 8 billion um, souls, and we're just talking about, this earth in this in the lower world, but imagine then extending to all the lower worlds. That seems to me to be the pathway to world peace. And so don't wait for your politician, don't wait for alien beings coming down to save us. The pathway to peace is right in front of you, it's in your hands. All you need to do is grab it.
So that's a beautiful that's dead on. And here's a visual to go with it. So I see all atoms of life as like a star grid. Tina, how you have the grids where all the stars have the little lines to the other stars and everything? I see that's how I see all atoms of life. And if you're not in sincerity, integrity, kindness, and compassion, you're not in your grid point. You're not in your latitude and longitude where you should be in that schematic. So if you want to change the world, you have to be at least in your pocket. You have to be seated in your grid point of sincerity, integrity, kindness, and compassion so that you can feed all other atoms of life and help them to stop toggling at their seated in their pocket and help them Just hunker in.
Can I share with you a possibly interconnected dream that I had last night? Isn't it funny how we're all having these metaphysical prophetic dreams? So I had a dream. We were Jen and I were in an airport, and we were going. We were on our way to the Netherlands, Ashna. So I don't know what that exactly means, but we're flying from Melbourne to the Netherlands, and we're in the airport, and this airport had a lot of fingers. Do you know? So in airports, where they have the docks, the bays where the aircraft come and you board, they have these little fingers. And so there's lots and lots of these little fingers, and it was almost like a rabbit's warren. It's like you couldn't really navigate and have a sense of where things were. And I don't know what the significance of this is, but we were flying, cop this, we were flying Ceylon Airways. Now, I don't even know if Ceylon has an international airline, but we're flying Ceylon Airlines to the first hop, and then we're flying another Asian airline to the Netherlands, right? So it was in two hops, and the flight number was CE5 was the flight number, and the gate that we were meant to be boarding on was gate 7. So it was gate 7 board, on Ceylon CE5. And we were walking around, we are trying to find the gate, and we couldn't find it. And the thing is that all of these fingers of all the gates, they were moving. And so every time we're moving into the right direction and we're looking for gate 7, all of the gate numbers would all of a sudden change, and then we're in the wrong direction, and we had to walk away, and we spent hours and hours looking for the right gate. And I finally had to ask a janitor who was just sort of cleaning up in the airport, can you please tell me where gate 7 is? Because it doesn't make sense. And the janitor turned around, he looked at me and he says, well, you're right in front of gate 7. And so I looked around, and lo and behold, there was gate 7. We went into the gate, and we're flying first class, actually. I don't know why. And so we were in the departure lounge in this first class thing, and we had this beautiful meal before we jumped on the airplane and flew away. So interesting dream.
So for me, his dreams are literal. I mean, it's so literal to me. It's like, and so the gate 5 to me is like
No, not gate 5. That
the
was
level.
the flight number.
It
CE5
was
was the
flight
flight
number
number.
5.
Yeah, that was the
Oh, okay. And so it's gate 7. But the 5 represents like starting off point at the 5th level of consciousness. You got the physical, astral, causal, mental, etheric. But then you get the 5th, which is like above the ego. So that's a jumping off point. And so what me and Marvin are doing here in the world is we're putting form on the formless worlds of the realms beyond the 5th realm. So the destination is like the 7th realm, but we're putting form on those. So people don't have to exist at the primal mode of their physicality or their emotions or their past life experiences. And being in the airport and just getting lost here is the mental realms, the maze of the mental realms where everyone gets lost. We're flying beyond that, and we're taking everyone with us to fly beyond that. And of course, a good meal is a good representative of me. I always love a good meal, babies.
Well, a good
So,
meal is providence.
yeah. And by the way,
Anyway,
everyone deserves first class. So I don't know why you don't.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone. And by the way, first class is available for everyone when we go beyond scarcity of energy. That little speech that I made about 0 point energy and abundant free energy, it's got to be a trigger. Keep an eye out for it.
Absolutely. And that's probably what's going to propel everyone to the 7th
Mhm.
level of consciousness, because you never hear anyone talk about the 7th level of consciousness. They think of, crossing over as higher consciousness when it's just landing on the astral plane. And the astral plane is so close to the physical. A lot of people who cross over don't realize they've crossed over because it's so much like the physical. So these levels of consciousness need to be, first of all, you need to know that they exist so you can know there's always another step. But the spiritual law of the land, and it's always been, is there's always one more step. So as much as you feel like you've arrived at whatever state of consciousness that you have, there's always more to learn. There's always more to know. And I get disappointed with myself all the time with how much I miss. It seems like awful how much I miss. And I know that I catch a lot more than the average person. So people are missing so much of what's offered right in front of their faces. It's so frustrating.
If you like this content and you appreciate the work that we're doing to uplift all of humanity and to help heal your body, mind, and soul, please consider becoming a Jenuine Healing premium content subscriber. Simply jump onto the Jenuine Healing website, jenuinehealing.com with a J, and click on the purchase button on the top menu. Scroll down, there's a premium content option. Click on that, sign up. It's a simple monthly plan for $20 a month, and you will have access to all of the premium content that we put up on the Jenuine Healing website. We look forward to catching you next time, and bye for now.